What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for AEW on PBS Review for June 2022. We are 1 week away, if I'm correct, or two. Let me see here. It is 1 week. Yeah, we are 1 week away from Forbidden Door. Now, I know a lot of people are going to look back at Forbidden Door when it's said and done and over with, and they're going to be like, man, this thing had some of the worst build I have ever seen in my life. Don't know what to tell you about that. It's not the fact. It does like. Let's look at the fact that AEW had Double Nothing at the end of last month. Dominion just happened this past week. New Japan Pro Wrestling does not announce anything for any card until they get to show that they've had previously. We got a couple matches added to Forbidden Door tonight. We also had the second member of the All Atlantic Championship tournament, that they want to call it, that qualifiers to the Fatal 4-Way. I'm just going to call it that. It's not even a tournament. It's qualifiers to the Fatal 4-Way at Forbidden Door, as Miro took on Ethan Page, as well as Chris Jericho versus Ortiz, Dax Harwood versus Will Ospreay, in what was one of the best matches in AEW history. One of the best matches of the year. When this year is all said and done and we're looking at who should be the Wrestler of the Year, Dax Harwood has got to be in the conversation. Is he going to win? Probably not, but he should be in the conversation for Wrestler of the Year because the dude has been killing it in every singles match he has had. So, yes, like I said before, we went from 2 matches being known before going into the show to 5 matches. And yes, we do have a women's match on this show. It will be Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship at Forbidden Door. So, any jackass who's trying to sit there and say this is a Second City Sausage Fest can go shut the fuck up now because AEW just put you in your place, you stupid fucking retard. Anyway, Ortiz and Jericho. Sorry about that, I just had to do it once. Started off the show with the hair versus hair match. Jericho has had 2 previous hair versus hair matches. One, of course, against Kevin Nash, so Kevin Nash can go on to be the Russian in the Punisher movie. He had to get his hair cut down short enough. I don't know who else he faced off against before, but he is 2-0 going into this match. And we had a surprise a surprise finish to this match with Chris Jericho and Ortiz. Now, if you watch the match and everything, you can see, maybe Chris Jericho could shave his head bald because you do see that Chris Jericho is balding a bit. You see a little bit of a bald spot on top of his head, so it's like maybe, just maybe, or maybe Ortiz wants to get his head shaved and have a reason to shave his head because he does braid his hair a lot. I have a brother-in-law who is I have a black brother-in-law. He braids his hair all the time. I gotta get it cut every once in a while. So yeah, it's like either way, it's like this is going to go one way or the other. I did love the fact that one of the AEW social media accounts did put a picture up of Chris Jericho, what he looked like bald, and Chris Jericho responded like, "Do you think this is funny?" So funny. Ortiz wastes no time attacking Jericho straight away, and while Jericho tries to hit a lion salt, Ortiz gets the knees up and continues his assault. Regal was on commentary for this, which was a nice touch. Fight spills outside of the ring as Ortiz launches him into the barricade, then sits Jericho on the barber's chair and begins raining down some punches. Then falls to the floor. Back in the ring, Jericho's chest gets lit up with a chop and a drop kick, but he only gets a near fall. Jericho turns things around with a few shots in the corner, and he looks for a hurricanrana from the top rope, but Ortiz turns it into a powerbomb. He follows it up with a diving headbutt. Jericho's once again able to kick out. Ortiz tries to hit a dive to the outside, but Jericho counters with an elbow strike, and then he follows it up with a suplex from the apron onto the floor. Back inside the ring, and Jericho connects with a drop kick before dumping him onto the outside. Jericho then distracts the officials while the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society members take a few shots at him until Eddie Kingston grabs a steel chair and makes them move. Ortiz gets back in the ring, but he gets straight into a delayed vertical suplex. Ortiz starts firing through, throwing hands at Jericho to show his aggression, but the veteran connects with a boot to the face. He spends too long bragging on top rope, which allows Ortiz to poke him in the eyes, as then drops to the top turnbuckle straight to the mat. Gets another near fall. Jericho then looks for the walls, but Ortiz is able to reverse it into a pinfall attempt, then a DDT, which Jericho once again kicks out. Misses a move from the top rope as Jericho hits the code breaker. But that just gets a 2 count. Ortiz attempts for a Hurricane Rod, but Jericho blocks it straight into the walls of Jericho. And he has to fight and does get to the bottom ropes. Ortiz gets to the top, but the JAS tries to stop him, but Kingston brawls with them. Here comes Santana and Wheeler Yuta to level the numbers game a bit. Things go wild outside the ring with the officials distracted. Kingston gets in the ring and nails Jericho with a spinning back fist. But somehow Jericho happens to kick out. The officials distracted once again by Jake Hager. Out of nowhere, we see Fuego del Sol with the JAS bat, with Floyd, hits Ortiz in the face, and Jericho wins 1, 2, 3. Oh no, why? Why, Fuego, why? But wait, that's not Fuego. Pulls the mask off. Sammy Guevara has rejoined Jake Hager and Chris Jericho. The biggest question is now, who's going to be on Blood and Guts for the JAS? Because you keep Hager out, you can keep Matt Menard out, you can keep Daniel Garcia out. It looks like Wheeler Yuta is going to be inside the Blood and Guts because they added. Well, Wheeler Yuta is going to be in a 6-man tag match on Forbidden Door, and we'll get to that here in a bit because that is something else we need to talk about as well. So it's great to see Sammy brought back into the fold with Jericho because he has been absolutely dead. Like they fucked him. Like whatever they tried to do with him and Sammy, with him and Tay, I should say. Like, Tony Khan literally went out there and was like, ooh, everyone loves Sammy, everyone loves Tay, they're dating, let's put them on TV. And then, oh boy, that pissed everybody off. So, let's see what happens with him with the JAS. Now, Sammy being added to the Jericho Appreciation Society definitely could it allows him to be a heel again, which is where he should be right now. He was doing fine until Cody Rhodes decided he had to have that one final moment before he would end up leaving for WWE and win the TNT title on Christmas. When that shit fucking happened, that started the downward spiral. Then the whole adding Tay to his act, which was a dumb mistake, and now he's back where he was at his best. So obviously, I think he should be in Blood and Guts. And who do you keep out? You don't need Jake Hager in Blood and Guts. If Jericho doesn't want to be in Blood and Guts and wants to send his troops out, by all means, he could be the captain/coach, just like Regal is going to be for the other group, and then you just have the other ones go in there and beat the hell out of them and go from there. But Ortiz takes the scissors, starts cutting his hair, then takes the clippers and starts zzz, zzz, zzz. Kingston says he's a man of his word. And Ortiz just screams blood and guts as he's cutting his hair and cutting his own hair. Again, it's great that they put Sammy Guevara back with Jericho because it worked the last time. Let's see what they can do with him again this time. But here's another thing: could this be a possibility that somebody gets ousted from the JAS, namely Daniel Garcia? Maybe something happens there. We'll have to wait and see. The low part of the show was Wardlow versus the 20 plaintiffs, where he just beat up a bunch of fucking security guards. Originally, all 20 guys were on the ring apron. Wardlow knocked 5 off, and Dasha, because Justin wasn't here tonight for some reason, maybe he was sick, I don't know, don't care, said that these 5 people were eliminated, but then he had to go through and just powerbomb and beat up. He pinned 5, he pinned 4, he pinned 3, he pinned 4 again. It was like, waste of time. So he wins after powerbombing and destroying everybody. Wardlow grabs Mark Sterling, but Dan Lambert appears saying if he messes with one member of the ATT, the entire team messes with him. He claims that he could come from anywhere, and he then shows us 2 legends, Matt Hughes and Tyron Woodley. Tells them to get in the ring and take him out. Wardlow points out they're from St. Louis. He thinks they are smarter than taking orders from a rich, fat dude from up top. He guesses they come from the same cloth instead. They send Sterling into Wardlow. Nails a powerbomb, and that was that. It was a waste of time, but with the match that was coming up next, I can understand why after you had that hot opening, that you want to cool the crowd down a bit. So when they go to Dax Harwood versus Will Ospreay, they have their energy to just cheer and go all, let's go Ospreay, let's go Dax, because this match was fucking awesome. Will Ospreay making his AEW singles debut. He did lose. He was on the losing side of Friday Night Show. But tonight, not happening. Will Ospreay won the match, obviously, but this was great. Like I said at the start of the show here, Dax Harwood's got to be in conversation for Wrestler of the Year. This guy versus CM Punk versus Cash Wheeler versus Will fucking Ospreay. This dude, if Cash Wheeler goes down with some kind of injury, which I'm not saying I want him to, but just hypothetically, if something would have happened and Cash Wheeler had to miss 7 or 8 months of time, Dax Harwood would be a welcome addition to the singles division, even possibly getting a nice, I wouldn't say a TNT championship run, but maybe a chase for the TNT championship, because this guy is just fucking great in the middle of this ring. Cash is great too, but Dax has been putting on banger after banger after banger after banger. It's just fucking fantastic. So, like I said, if for whatever reason Cash had to call it quits and Dax wanted to keep wrestling, the dude's got himself to where he thrives in the tag team division and he thrives in the singles division. So if he has to work either side, he can. Will Ospreay is just one of a kind, man. He is one of a kind. I have noticed over the years he has somewhat, maybe with this heel role he's doing right now, come down on his aerodynamics. He doesn't do as much as he was when he was younger, but the dude is just killing it. Yes, he is the new IWGP US Heavyweight Champion. I'm surprised they did not put the title on the line at Forbidden Door, but he doesn't have the physical belt because Juice Robinson, for some reason, still has it instead of sending it back, or sending it to at least Shibata in California, so somebody in New Japan has a hold of it. I don't know. Two grapple early on as they look to gain advantage. Will Ospreay then shows his athleticism by hitting a running Hurricane Rana, drops his opponent. Beautiful looking spot. That is what I call vintage Will Ospreay. Follows up with a chop in the corner, but Dax nails one of his own, which drops Ospreay to the floor, following with a suplex and leg drop combination. Dax then launches Ospreay with a big back body drop. He follows with an elbow strike, and the two men then end up on the apron with FTRs. Big Star here hitting more chops, and I don't know if this was hey, let's go out there and hit each other as hard as we can, but I swear, Dax Harwood was chopping Will Ospreay harder than I think I've heard anybody chop anybody in the last 5 years. He was hitting him for real, it felt like. Holy shit. It just, usually you get that first one where they hit him and it's it sounds very loud. And then the next ones after that don't sound as loud. But my God, he just went and just smacked the shit out of this guy multiple times tonight. It was so bad, later on in the match, you could see spots of droplets of blood coming from the chest of Will Ospreay. And yes, I did smack my own chest because I can. So he launches Ospreay with a big back body drop. He follows with an elbow strike. The two men end up on the apron as that Ospreay was trying to suplex. Dax was trying to suplex the Ospreay out. Ospreay was trying to suplex him out. Eventually, they got on the apron. Dax tries to suplex him again, but he ends up back in the ring. He slides underneath, pulls Dax down. This was a little bit of a botch, but they made it do with what they could, because Dax was supposed to slide off and split with him going down the middle, with one leg going one way in the apron and the other leg going the other way. It didn't work out that way originally, and it looked like Dax might have hurt his leg a little bit. And he gets out of that, and the camera is focused on Dax. Out of nowhere, coming just from the right, Dax, from the right, Ospreay just with a shotgun dropkick to Dax into the stairs. Holy shit. Back to the ring, Ospreay showcases his aggression, sending Harwood into the turnbuckle, stun him first, which gets in near fall. Ospreay then locks in the abdominal stretch, but Dax goes out with a hip toss. Ospreay then handsprings back from the ropes, only to be caught in midair, with the Harwood hitting 5 consecutive German suplexes. Holy shit. And then he gets him a 6th time, and oh my God, that last one was absolutely fucking scary. He grabs Ospreay and just yeets him so far, and he lands Ospreay had a neck injury, if I'm correct, last year, right? That's what happened. He got injured, and that's when he had to vacate the world title last year. Is he had some kind of neck injury? That last suplex did not help his neck whatsoever. Sends him flying across the ring, but Dax crashes and burns with an attempted diving headbutt. I wish that move was outlawed. You think after Chris Benoit's incident in 2007 that the diving headbutt, a move like that, would be outlawed since it does lead to brain injury? I mean, even after, and you think if it didn't get outlawed there, with the fact that Bryan Danielson had to be 2 years out, like a year and a half, on the shelf being retired, that somebody would have said, let's not allow, the diving headbutt should be outlawed in major sports. If you want to do it on the indies, where they don't give a shit about safety half the time, fine. But like AEW, WWE, New Japan, the diving headbutt should be outlawed. Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, GCW, and NWA as well. The diving headbutt should be outlawed because of how we know of CTE and other brain injuries. Harwood sends Ospreay to launch him into the back of the ring, but he reverses into a crossbody. Ospreay hits a powerbomb, but Harwood rolls through with the jackknife, almost stealing the win. Ospreay then launches him over the top rope with a crossbody, and back in the ring he dives from the top to connect with an elbow to the head with another near fall. Ospreay tries the Oz Cutter twice, but Harwood pulls him back in, and Harwood looks for a springboard powerbomb, only for Will to block it. He then goes for the Oz Cutter, but Harwood catches him, and this time he springboard Liger bombs him, which is chef's kiss thing of beauty, and gets a near fall for Harwood. Both men trade blows back and forth, with Dax getting the best out of the major lariat. Ospreay then hits the Liger bomb, but doesn't get the job done. He follows with an Oz Cutter, but Harwood still kicks out. He gets up, loads the elbow pad, hits the hidden blade. 1, 2, 3. That is it. Will Ospreay wins. Honestly, the match of the night, the match of the week, the match of June, in my opinion, so far. I wouldn't say match of the year, but it was a damn good match. Holy shit. After the match, the rest of the United Empire appear. That includes, like, all the United Empire. Aussie Open, Great Khan, Jeff Cobb, the new IWGP Tag Team Champions, and Aaron Hanare, I think is how you say his name. But here come Roppongi Vice and Cash Wheeler to try and open the arms, but they don't have enough men. Ospreay just backs off and just sits in the corner and is like, I ain't got nothing to do with any of this. Here comes the returning Orange Cassidy. We have not seen Orange Cassidy in, I think, at least a month. Remember, he did have that elbow injury for a while there. That kept him sidelined, but the crowd popped big. Everyone disappeared but Will Ospreay. Cassidy gets in the ring. He walks around Ospreay. Ospreay turns around. They have a stare down. And it was made official later in the show. Well, they have a stare down. FTR, Roppongi Vice all come in. And Ospreay leaves and gets back with his men. So it was announced later in the show that we are getting Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. So I know there's going to be people like, oh my god, I can't wait for this match. And there's other people who are going to be like, really? This is the best you got for Will Ospreay? But let's just face it. Orange Cassidy is a really, really good professional wrestler. When he, quote unquote, tries. The dude's good. Dude is going to be able to go out there and give you a hell of a match. Do you remember what he did with Pac? You remember what he did with Pac and Kenny Omega? What he did in the match with Pac and Kenny Omega? This should be a damn good match. Just watch it and be happy. We get a video package discussing the history between Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Both men make their way to the ring. Tanahashi comes in second, and he just starts orchestrating like a holy. He's like holy. They're saying holy shit, and he's just like, you know, pointing out to everybody like yes, 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 like that. Yeah. Moxley said he's been chasing Tanahashi for a long time. Now, before I get into this, Tony Khan did come out on comicbook.com, an interview with Comic Book, and said that he has deliberately prevented this match from happening many times. New Japan has been wanting to do Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jon Moxley many times, and Tony Khan has pretty much said, no, it's not the right time. No, it's not going to be good for that match. I think these two were supposed to wrestle each other at Capital Collision before, Ospreay and Moxley's match went to a controversial end, and everything with Juice Robinson coming back and all that stuff. I think this was supposed to happen there. We got a taste of this match at Capital Collision. I watched that show. It was a pretty good show. And, yeah. So, he says he's finally here. You're finally here in all your glory. He says he's chased him across Japan, across the Pacific. Everything he's done in New Japan has been about him. Moxley says there's only one man people call Ace, but not long. Says Tanahashi deserves the respect, but now he is the best wrestler on the planet. Lots of people are pretending, but he lives it. Mox says there is more on the line than the world title, the AEW world title, as everything is on the line from him. Everything he's worked for the last 3 years, all the blood, sweat, and tears, everything is on the line. Tanahashi's busted knee, life, limb, everything is on the line. He says at Forbidden Door, Tanahashi will call him Ace. Tanahashi goes over and grabs the mic when he's saying this and tries to pull it away. He pulls it away. Before he can say anything, here comes Jericho, Tay Conti, and Sammy Guevara. I was like, oh, you could put Sammy Guevara in the JAS, but take Tay Conti away from on TV. I don't care to see Tay Conti and Sammy Guevara on television. I mean, hell. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch were on the same brand. They were married. WWE tried that for a month. WWE realized, wow, that was a bad idea. Split them up and let them do their own thing. Tay Conti does not need to be with Sammy Guevara. She was doing fine on her own. Sammy Guevara does not need to have Tay Conti. They can have the relationship stuff on BTE. I don't care. Leave it off my TV. Says if he doesn't walk away right now, Moxley will burn Moxley's face because he's a wizard. Jericho then points out the last time he saw Tanahashi, he beat him up. The Ace tells him to shut up, and then all of a sudden, Lance Archer and El Desperado, Suzuki Goons, attack both men while Jericho Appreciation Society also get involved as they jump the two men. He introduces the two members of the JAS, Guevara and Conti. He says Archer and Desperado are here on loan from Minoru Suzuki. He says at Forbidden Door, it will be Jericho, Guevara, and Suzuki versus Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and the shooter himself, Shota Umino. And the crowd popped for Shota, which that is awesome. I remember when Jon Moxley came to New Japan Pro Wrestling, I watched all the first few matches. I didn't watch most of the G1 because it was just too much at the same time. Watched his match with Juice. Watched his match with Shota Umino when he was still a young lion. The fact that he had that match with Shota Umino, picked him up, took him to the back. He's like, I like this kid. And I watched all the interviews and stuff that he had and how Jon Moxley took Shooter under his wing, gave him the nickname Shooter. He went on to Excursion. He came back at Windy City Riots to answer the U.S. I think it was that. Was it? Yeah, it was that one. He answered the USFJ challenge. I think it was Windy City Riots. And came back as a Shooter, and him and Moxley are still pals. He should be the Japanese branch of the Blackpool Combat Club. I would love to see Shooter and Moxley in a tag team match on Wednesday night or on Friday night. It would be awesome. Kingston Ortiz and Yuta come down, the brawl erupts, and Tanahashi and Moxley finish up standing tall. And they stare each other down. So, it would have been cool if they would have also had Shooter here just to build that. That would have been fantastic. You had El Desperado and Lance Archer there. What are they doing at Forbidden Door? I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get some kind of Battle Royal New Japan and like 10 New Japan guys, 10 AEW guys. Winner of that gets a guaranteed title shot of their choosing of either company. It doesn't matter. If you're a Shooter, you get to pick whatever championship. If you want to go for the pure championship, which is held by Wheeler Yuta, that is fine. This is what I was expecting because Wheeler Yuta had a match, was the best of Super Juniors. He lost to El Desperado and Robbie Eagles. New Japan missed out on, this would have been a perfect thing for them to book. Wheeler Yuta versus the winner of El Desperado and Robbie Eagles on this road to that they're doing that's going to be part of the All-Atlantic Tournament, and have the winner of that go to Forbidden Door to take on Wheeler Yuta. That's just my thought. I think they could have did that, but they didn't. Tony Storm was interviewed and said that the Faker is intelligent, but she wouldn't play the stupid games that she has. Tony says she has the skill set of a champion, and she's going to take the division where it should be. We all have to see the DMD, but we want to see Tony as world champion. And I think it's a Christmas miracle. Nobody interrupted the interview. When was the last time that happened? Back to the the previous segment here. I saw people online being upset that AEW didn't they had a chance to make the Tanahashi and Jon Moxley match interesting, and they blew it by doing the whole Jericho and Desperado and Archer Suzuki Gun thing. I'm sorry. Are you not excited to? Are you not interested in Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi on name value alone? This match sells itself. They didn't have to even come face to face here. They didn't have to do anything. They could have did video packages for all I fucking care. As soon as the match was official, oh my god, I can't wait to see Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. If you weren't excited for that match on its own, you have a problem. And I don't know what to fucking tell you about that, because that match was worth it. That match is worth it. Like I said, they wanted to get another match booked. They wanted to, they're also building towards Blood and Guts. The 6-man tag is going to have some credence for Blood and Guts because Eddie Kingston is there. Wheeler Yuta is there. Chris Jericho is there. So, and honestly, if you want to, you could have Suzuki-gun versus Pride and Powerful. I would be fine with that match. You could have Desperado and Archer versus Santana and Ortiz. Don't leave them out on Forbidden Door. You could have that match there. Of course, Santana and Ortiz got to win because they're going in the Blood and Guts. So, yeah, that right there. You could have, like, the Tanahashi. Yes, if people want to be upset about it, fine, whatever, that's your thing. But in my opinion, they didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to even talk. They didn't have to be in the same ring until Forbidden Door. You're not excited. If you don't have interest in Jon Moxley versus Hiroshi fucking Tanahashi before this segment tonight, you do not love professional wrestling. You're one of those sports entertainment goons from WWE. And we'll talk about that on Friday. That's what's going on over there in the E. This is an AEW review. We don't talk about the E here, just like we don't talk about AEW on Monday or Friday. Well, we do talk about AEW on Friday, but on Monday we do not talk about AEW. That's WWE stuff. Friday is a mix of the two because of AEW SmackDown and AEW SmackDown. I'm sorry, AEW Rampage and SmackDown. Give me a fucking break. Well, we'll talk about the whole dealings because I want to know what else is coming out. Because I don't want to talk about it yet because we only know little sprinkles. I want to see what else comes out. We'll talk about that then. Jeff Hardy thing we'll talk about here in a second as well. You know what? Let's talk about that now. Jeff Hardy, of course, was arrested on Monday for DUI, suspended, driving without a license, driving with a suspended or revoked license. It's all a mess. Matt and Rebby did everything they could to keep Jeff Hardy in the straight and narrow when they were with him. The only mistake they made, in my opinion, is they didn't force him to leave with them. They wanted to fly back home. You make that motherfucker fly back home with you. He is a risk to himself. He is a risk to others. Apparently, apparently tonight's show was supposed to be the triple threat match, and if everything went fine, the Hardys were going to win the tag team titles until the match at Double or Nothing. Match at Double or Nothing, I totally believe that Jeff Hardy got knocked for a loop because if he was under the influence of something, that second half of that match would not have been the way it was. That first half, it looked like he took a stiff shot somewhere in the beginning of that match that just knocked him for a loop. And he was down, he was out, he couldn't do anything. But once he shook off the cobwebs or whatever and was able to get his bearings back in, the rest of the match was fine. It was a tale of two matches. The first half, it was a 2-on-1 handicap match. That second half of that, which was terrible, the second half of that match was fucking great. But unfortunately, Jeff got arrested 3 times, almost 4 times the legal limit. Could easily be sent to jail, which honestly he should be. Suspended without pay. Won't be able to come back until he goes to rehab. The thing that will keep him out of jail is if he actually goes to rehab and works on it there. That'll be what they do. Time served, that's good for you. It's good enough for you. Honestly, it's coming down with Jeff Hardy. He's no better than Tammy Sitch, other than the fact that he can actually wrestle and fans actually like him. The dude needs help. AEW has took the initiative to take all advertisements of Jeff Hardy. He's not in the video packages right now. He's not getting paid. He's not on the thing. AEW's not going to sit there and stake this. This isn't WWE where they just sweep it under the rug and he's responsible for his own actions. Yes, they're going to say he's responsible for his own actions, but they're actually going to do something. Tony Khan said basically, either get the fucking help so you can come back or get the fuck out. Jeff needs to get his fucking help. And it's coming down to the point, I hate to say this, and Jeff is a 47-year-old grown man. He needs to be babysat. Plain and simple. He needs to be babysat if he's going to continue to fall back on his demons. everyone points to the DDP helping Scott Hall and Jake Roberts. Yes, he did. But Scott Hall and the 2020 pandemic didn't help Scott Hall at all. He ended up back on dipping back in his demons. Jake doesn't seem to have that problem. I think Jake's been able to steer clear of that stuff. I don't know, but there's been talk that the last few years of Scott Hall's life were not as all rosy as everyone thinks they were. So Jeff definitely needs something, and wrestling is not one of those things. Honestly, Jeff should not be in the wrestling ring until he can. Honestly, Jeff should not be in the wrestling ring again until he can at least prove 6 to 9 months that he will not drink or do anything that could endanger anybody, let alone himself. Plain and simple. That's just it. Now, the Hardy Boys were supposed to be in the main event tonight. They were supposed to be in the main event of a Triple Mania show coming up this weekend. They were supposed to take on Dragon Lee, and I can't remember who else they have. But Matt's still going to be there, and Triple A is going to find a partner for him to have that main event. Who it's going to be? Don't know. I hope everything works out for them. But Jeff, I don't know anyone personally who goes through this, but we've seen it so many times. And yes, I understand it's probably so fucking hard. If he's kicked the drug habit, that's great. But the alcohol is not something. The only thing, you know what he should have been doing his whole time in WWE is talking to fucking Matt Riddle and how, using what Matt Riddle likes to use would be a better alternative than anything else. And Jeff, seriously, dude, get an Uber. Uber exists. Lyft exists. You were in Florida. I live in a small town in Ohio. I don't think they don't have Lyft or Uber around here, so we're SOL over here. But you were in Florida, a place that I'm pretty sure you can find an Uber or a Lyft, no fucking problem. People, fans, love you. Fans wanted to see you have this final run with you and your brother, and you threw it away because of what? You have family. Matt Hardy hasn't touched a drink since he had kids. Since Maxwell was born, he hasn't touched a drop. Why can't Jeff do the same? Matt Hardy was just as fucked up for a while, a time as Jeff was. Jeff, in an interview with some geek or something, said that he cares, family is important to him. Why does this guy continue to let his family down? Why? If having kids and a family wasn't enough to get this guy to put the fucking bottle down and never pick it up again, nothing's going to do that. It has come to a point where you will have to have somebody handcuff this motherfucker to them, slap every bottle, every fucking thing of whiskey, rum, or whatever out of his hand, and make sure that he gets from place to place to place, and make sure he never touches the bottle again. It comes down to that. Or he can go to jail for 5 years and stick in there and think about it while he sits in there and realize that my fucking career is over because I was too stubborn to get the help that I needed. I hope he gets help. Jon Moxley. And I saw people comparing this to Jon Moxley. The fact that Jon Moxley, Jon Moxley had a drinking problem. Jon Moxley had alcoholism or whatever. And he went and checked himself into rehab voluntarily. Got himself better, and he's where he is today. It is not even close to the same thing. Jon Moxley has, as far as I've heard and seen, Jon Moxley has never gotten behind the wheel to drive while he's been intoxicated. Jon Moxley was able to, Renee and maybe Tony and maybe even Eddie Kingston were able to get through to Jon Moxley and be like, dude, bro, you got a problem. And Jon Moxley was able to go, you know what? I do. I need to go get help. He went and got help, and the dude is living a better life. Jon Moxley could be that positive influence for Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy needs to spend time with Mox, and Mox needs to just drill this into this dude's head that you have. I don't think Jeff Hardy has 3 young girls, who could have woke up on Monday, heard that their dad died in a car accident because he was too stubborn and decided to throw back some Fireball whiskey and get behind the wheel like the selfish person that he is. When you are when you get drunk, you want to get drunk at your house, you want to get drunk and placid, fine, whatever, you do it at your house. You do it at a friend's. You do it somewhere that you're safe. or if you're at a bar or something and you need to get home. First off, if it was at a bar, the bartender should have said, "Nope, man, I'm taking those keys. I'm going to call you an Uber. I'm going to call you a taxi or something." No excuse. No excuse that Jeff Hardy was in this situation. The fact that the guy is able to rent a car, that's something that needs to change. That is something that needs to change in the business of car rental, is that somebody like Jeff Hardy had no business having a rental himself. Like, dude, you have so many people who want the best for you, and you need to get that help. If you're having trouble, you need to talk to somebody. I don't know who the hell you can talk to, but you need to talk to somebody. John Moxley would be the best person. Eddie Kingston would probably be able to drill this guy or something. Something needs to happen. And then you have Booker T. Booker T goes on a podcast and says, AEW showed us some blame because of all the death-defying moves that Jeff Hardy has been doing since he got to the company. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure Tony Khan didn't go out there and say, "Hey, Jeff, why don't you go jump off that ladder? Hey, Jeff, why don't you go put Darby Allin on those stairs and go do a swanton onto them, have Darby miss, and you hit those." I don't think Tony Khan would go out and do that. Tony Khan says, "You go do you, and we'll see what happens." Tony Khan should have, is Tony Khan to blame? Fucking no. This goes to Jeff Hardy and Jeff Hardy alone. It's not like WWE, when last time Jeff Hardy arrested, didn't do a drunk driving angle where he was blamed for hitting Elias, so Elias could be written off TV due to a bicep injury, if I'm correct. And they had him take a piss test in the Performance Center. They had Sheamus and Jeff Hardy battle it out in the Blunder Dome in a bar in the arena where the Magic play. But no. WWE didn't help push his demons up in front of everybody while AEW is doing the right fucking thing, suspending the guy and making sure that he goes to get help, or they're gonna fire his ass. And I don't think WWE will take him back this time because, they'll take him back eventually, but they got their own problems. We'll talk about that on Friday. Jeff, just get it together, man. Get it together. Do I want to see the Hardy Boys reunion after this? Hell no. I didn't want to see it in the first place. I figured they were going to, this whole triple threat match was going to end up being Jeff and Matt winning the titles. It didn't happen. Thankfully, hopefully will go get some help. But the question is, what's it going to take to get this through Jeff's head, that this is not the way to go, man. You got to get your shit together. You got 3 daughters, if I'm correct. 3 daughters at home who, if I'm correct, are not of age yet, who are not 18 or 19 or 20 or whatever those age are. They're, I think, very young still. Maybe they're in their preteens. They need their father, and they wake up and find out their father was arrested because he's too selfish of an individual to come home, and instead has to throw back some whiskey. Dude, if I was in your position, I would have them on my cell phone as a fucking background picture. I would look at that and be like, that's my motivation for life right now. Nothing else fucking matters. But of course, I'm not Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's motivation is the next bottle he's gonna hit. Give me a fucking break. Jeff, do fucking better. Your family, you don't owe us anything. You owe your family everything. They are your family. You should be ashamed of yourself for disappointing them and letting them down. Don't give a fuck what we have to say because we're fans. That's about it. But your family is what thing you should be thinking about. When you wake up in the morning, you should be thinking about your family. What you're going to do for your family. Not going to hit a fucking bottle because you can't fucking handle the pain. There are other alternatives to handling pain. Smoke a little marijuana. Do a little bit of this. But don't fucking do something that is going to put your life in danger, other families' life in danger. You could have hit somebody. You could have hit a kid crossing the street. You could have hit a family. You could have killed somebody in the car accident. You could have killed yourself. What is your family going to do? What is your daughters and your wife going to fucking do if you're 6 feet under because you were too fucking selfish to think about them when you're throwing back the fucking shots? That's fucking pathetic. That's disappointing. I don't care if you've let down the fans, because that's what happens with wrestlers. They let down the fans all the fucking time, from here and there. But it's your family that should matter to you. You told some geek that you fucking family is what matters, and that's why you didn't want to go to rehab with WWE's help. But yet, here you are, Monday morning, drunk off your ass, and saying, fuck my family, I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's what comes across as. Grow the fuck up, Jeff. You're 40-some years old. I've never drunk in my fucking life. I don't get how anyone thinks that shit's gonna fucking help you. It's not right. And honestly, the best thing for Jeff Hardy right now is 5 years in jail. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Moving on back to the show here, we had Ethan Page versus Miro, the All-Atlantic match qualifier for the championship, as we will have a 4-way at the pay-per-view. Now, there was some news that the Lucha Bros and Andrade and even Dragon Lee will not be able to work Forbidden Door because of politics. CMLL is the partner of New Japan Pro Wrestling. They have been the partner of New Japan Pro Wrestling, I think, since the 90s. I could be wrong. Maybe the early 2000s. AEW's Mexico partner is AAA. Andrade is affiliated with AAA. The Lucha Bros are affiliated with AAA. Because of politics and the fact that AAA and CMLL are cross rivals, nobody who is tied to, which tells you that FTR probably will not be on the show as well, because they are the AAA tag team champions, and that would piss CMLL off. Which honestly, you don't have to show the AAA. They don't have to mention the AAA tag team titles or have the tag team titles. But that would piss CML off. That would piss AAA off. So I don't think FTR is going to be on the show, which fucking sucks. I could be wrong, but we'll have to wait and see. The match starts out. Ethan Page is playing mind games, leaving the ring. When he gets back to him, he's able to attack Miro, and he starts working on the arm. The former TNT champ responds with a big lariat, and he decides to work on the arm and his opponent as well. This one spills to the outside as Miro continues to work aggressively. Page turns things around back in the ring, though, with the official distracted. Dan Lambert gets a shot in on Miro, but he doesn't take counter to this and hits a huge drop kick. Miro then chases Lambert outside, but this allows Page to dive to the ring apron with a shoulder tackle. This match was pretty much just Page trying to fight off and everything. Page follows up with a cutter, then only gets enough to get a near fall. Miro once again fires up, launches Page around the ring, and nails a leg lariat for gain control. Lambert gets up, trying to distract Miro. Miro punches him. Machka kick. Game over. Tap out, and Miro moves on. Next week, it will be Penta Oscuro versus Malachi Black. Obviously, Penta's not winning. I don't know why you would... Penta can't even be in the fucking Fatal 4-Way at Forbidden Door because of politics in Mexico. Why put him in the match? Why put him in the qualifiers? That's my question. Toni Storm versus Britt Baker. Toni Storm wins. I'm not going into this match because Toni Storm carried this woman as best she could, but the Faker is so botch heavy, it's not even funny. If she had any progress before she won that women's championship, she sucks. Now, during the match, Jamie Hayter was trying to help Faker as much as she could, but Thunder Rosa ran down and chased Jamie Hayter off. Well, I'm thinking, I don't want to put Faker anywhere near this fucking championship again, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's World Championship after she's done with Toni Storm at Forbidden Door. So, Thunder Rosa appears again, holds the title up, pointing at Storm, and that match will be happening at Forbidden Door. So, the Second City Sausage Fest can go, that dumb fuckhead on social media can go shut the fuck up because, hey, look, we got a women's match happening at Forbidden Door, you fat fuck. Courtney Hathaway is backstage and says we're making a commentary debut on Friday as we will have Jade Cargill issuing an open challenge. Here comes Widow Nightingale. She says she wants that match, and that match will happen at Rampage on Friday. Atlanta for Rampage comes up tonight, but I was like, I was hoping because Hiroshi Tanahashi was here. Could we get one Hiroshi Tanahashi match in AEW before Forbidden Door? I would love to see just one time. He's here. You take the show tonight, you could just say, hey, dude, you got your gear, let's get out there and have you have one 10, 15-minute match. I think that would be fantastic, but no, unfortunately not. Hangman Page appears and says last week he called a shot by calling out Okada for the IWGP Championship. He says, as an occasional dumbass, he didn't think that the fact that he might not be champion by the time we get to Forbidden Door, as he lost the championship this past weekend. Says the sentiment hasn't changed, the challenge still stands, but Cole then appears and congratulates Jay White. He tells Paige again that he won't challenge for the title, and if anybody will, it'll be him. Forbidden Door isn't about AEW and New Japan, it's about the Undisputed Elite and Bullet Club. Cole says the best way to showcase is Cole versus White. Cole then claims Okada won't be at Forbidden Door. Apparently, I'm pretty sure either Okada's having a child around this time, or he's getting married. One of the two. So if he's not going to be at Forbidden Door, or I think it's his wife's birthday, is the weekend of Forbidden Door. So, and it's like I'm thinking to myself, like, well, it's your wife's birthday on this time, but why don't you just bring her to Chicago? You have a match, and then you take you celebrate your wife's birthday from this all weekend long, and then go from there. I think it's what it is. But anyway, he says he does have somebody here who does want to say hello. We hear Jay White's music. Jay White from behind with the Blade Runner. He does have the IWGP Heavyweight Championship with him. Belt still as ugly as sin. I want the old IWGP World title back, please. He says he is the catalyst of professional wrestling. He asked Paige why he thinks he called his shot because he couldn't beat CM Punk. He lost his AEW World title. He says our singles matches are too owed to the Switchblade. He says if he's putting his title on the line at Forbidden Door, it won't be against Paige. I was like, that's right, it's going to be me versus you, man. That's right, yeah, come on, we can do this. And Jay White's like, Adam, I'm sorry, buddy. It ain't going to be against you either. Says he holds the prize and the power, and he's world breeze with the Switchblade, and that was that. So, who's Jay White gonna face? Do not know. We'll see what's going on with Okada. Is he gonna be at Forbidden Door? And people need to calm down. Even if Okada is not on the first Forbidden Door, Tony Khan wants this to be an annual thing. In my opinion, this should be a 2-time-a-year thing. One in America, one in Japan. Forbidden Door for the U.S. side happens in Chicago. Happens in June. And in December, you get the one in Japan. I mean, that's what I would do, or something. So we have Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This match is going to be too hard to go over blow by blow. It's just way too much. We have new tag team champions in the Young Bucks. Not surprised here. The match, like I said, when Tony Khan was coming up with this match happening weeks ago, it was going to be the Hardys winning this, and then the match at Double or Nothing happened, which soured the Hardys' chance. And then, of course, the arrest of Jeff Hardy took them out of the running. So the Young Bucks win the tag team titles. This match was just nuts. I don't know what the fuck happened, but they just needed to throw chairs in this, and we could have had a TLC match, because there were tables set up all around the fucking ring. You had a stack of 4 tables right at the entranceway. You had tables over here, tables over there. Everybody went through a table. You get a table shot. You get a table shot. Y'all get table shots. Luchasaurus takes a beautiful Jeff Hardy type bump going through the 4 stack of tables towards the end of the match. They take out Jungle Boy take Jungle Boy out. They grab the titles. They win the match. The match is something you could talk about. It was a damn good match. The 4 guys went out there and they killed it. And then Christian Cage is checking on Luchasaurus. Goes in to seemingly help Jungle Boy. But pulls him, hits the kill switch, gets the chair, hits the concerto, and takes his jacket off, raises his hands as he is finally turned heel and has ended this. Now, when does the match between these two happen? I do not know. But it's going to have to happen in Jungle Boy, of course. Can they get this to All Out? I don't know, but it's definitely been a long time coming. I think this was supposed to happen when the match, when the Lucha Bros were taking on Jurassic Express for the tag title at the beginning of the year. Phoenix wasn't supposed to get hurt, but Phoenix and Luchasaurus were taken out of that match on purpose. It was coming down to Pentagon Jr., Penta, and Jungle Boy. And I think Christian was supposed to turn there. But then they saw the injury to Phoenix is we can't keep the titles on the Lucha Bros because Phoenix is injured. They called an audible. The Jurassic Express won the titles. They had to hold off the Christian Cage heel turn because you're not just going to have him turn heel and screw the titles off the champions already, even though they just won them. So you give them a title reign. They have some damn good tag team title matches, and then they lose them in a ladder match. What else can you do? So, again, really good show tonight. The Wardlow thing was kind of meh, but I understand why they did it. that is your AEW on TBS review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Follow me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys on Friday for SmackDown and Rampage. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.